And hello, my dears. My name is Pasha. It's our broadcast, and we start. Traditionally, we check signal. And how do you hear me? And how do you see me? Do you hear me and see me good or no? Just the right place in the chat. So today is a good day. Just awaiting your answers and start giving a new update for you. Okay, I'm see first process and traditionally, my dears, first news, and it's news about Russian losses. Yeah, and for today, number of Russian losses, it's 204,000 Russian lost soldier. So every day number only increasing and increasing. It's good news, and I think number of Russian that soldiers increasing, and it's too thanks for situation in Belgorod too, and thanks for the Bakhmut defenders because now we understand and we know more hottest point of Ukrainian war. It's Donbas region, it's Luhansk, Donetsk regions, and now it's Belgorod. So couple interesting fact about Belgorod. I'm just prepared. No, not so fast. Today in Ukraine, Day of Marine Corps. So my congratulations for all Marine Corps soldier. The Marine Corps in Ukraine, it's just a part of Navy. It's Navy infantry. So yes, and today his day. You know that our guys from Marine Corps fight on a hottest point of Ukraine. They fight in a Mariupol. Now they fight in a Donbas. They fought before in Kherson, and it's a very brave and courageous guys. So yeah, and my congratulations for him today. And on this picture you can see that President Zelensky coming to the front line for personally give medals, for personally say thank you for the soldier from Marine Corps, from Ukrainian Navy. So yes, sweet day for the Marine Corps. And for the last 2 days, yesterday and today, a lot of news about that something happened in Belgorod, and chief of General Reconnaissance Service of Ukraine, General Budanov, he agreed that something happened. So interesting fact. We know that revolution or something like this started on a Russian territory, but no one Ukrainian soldiers doesn't come across the border. No one. By officially data, it's due. I don't know how we can see it's a Russian rebels or Russian Liberate Army. I don't know how they have name, but it's the two units. That's two units. It's Legion Svoboda России, Freedom of Russia, and RDK, Русский Добровольческий Корпус. It's a Russian Volunteers Corps. And yes, these guys a little bit penetrate in Belgorod, and do something interesting on a Russian territory. So it's like small diversional group, but not so small like a section or platoon. It's a little bit more. Maybe couple companies of Russian civilian just to start some shit on a Russian territory, and it's good. And after after this activity, on the Russian territory, on a Belgorod, on a Voronezh, start increasing revolution activities. And civilian people change opinion about government because, for example, in Belgorod we have situation when gubernator, I don't know how it name, like a chief of the Belgorod district, said that always okay, no one Ukrainian, no one RDK, no one Freedom of Russia battalion soldiers not going to the border, not going across the border, and always okay, situation under control, but I'm very worried. And I will not show videos for you, but who check the last news, can see how helicopters flying in a Belgorod, how I don't know, Russian soldiers, Russian infantry just running in a Belgorod, and something noisy, little bit noisy near Ukrainian and Russian border. And so I'm just a show for you couple pictures. I think it will be more better than just my blah blah blah. First interesting news. Ukrainian service Deep State and Ukrainian alarm service. I'm see comments that I need make a little bit. I should a little bit increase my microphone. I hope that now do you hear me better. So, and now we have news that Deep State Service and Ukrainian Air Alarm Service just added Belgorod district on a Ukrainian map. So it's so funny. I hope that in the future, not little so soon, we aid Voronezh Oblast, Rostov-na-Donu. But for today, we have Belgorod district in a Ukrainian deep state map. And when Russian civilians see this, when they watching his Telegram news and see this news, they really worried. They really angry. Because they don't understand what's happened. His government say nothing for him, and Russian volunteers who fight for Ukraine do some success. So it's not looks like a full-scale invasion or something like this. It looks like a small revolution, maybe. Because if I don't mistake, no tanks from Ukrainian border, no heavy vehicle, just a couple EPC and armored cars. But I'm just a quote Putin. He said that everybody can buy uniform in a military shop, everybody can buy military vehicle in a military shop, and it's not problem. It's just a local rebels. Okay, Mr. Putin, thanks for your important thing. Yes, and and all that rebels activity increasing. Now you can see pictures on a text on this fence. Свободу России. It's freedom for Russia. And this picture from Belgorod, from a Russian territory. And I can say that it's so funny, but I don't know, when I see this news, I'm smiling, I'm more happy. But so interesting, during this operation of Russian volunteers on the Russian territory, they doesn't use missiles, they doesn't use jets, they not bombing civilian infrastructure, they don't kill civilian people like Russian when they invade in Ukraine. It means that we're really different, because oh my god, Kellendan. Thanks for your donation, Kellendan. And I am when you just write something in your donation, I will read it during a broadcast. And Kellendan write, stay strong and safe, brave defenders of the free world. Take care of yourself, Pasha. Much love and appreciation from the California People Republic. California People Republic. No. I hope in United States always be stability. I hope always be good. Thanks for your donation, Kellendan. We appreciate your support. Thanks, Kellendan. Thanks. Kellen, I'm just after your donation, I'm just lose my thing in general. And what about I told? A lot of Russian media tells that it's a fake. No one Russian soldier doesn't come in. No one soldier doesn't come from Ukraine to Russia. No combat activities, always okay and no problem. It's just a position of the Russian media. And people angry because government say nothing for him, media say nothing for him, and I don't know. I see a couple news about evacuation of civilian people from the Belgorod region, but I can't accept. I can accept that evacuation of civilian people is real. Maybe it's just an informational operation. Maybe it's Ukrainian episode. I don't know. I can accept it, but I see some video when Russian civilian trying in a basement, I don't know, in a bombing shelter, and bombing shelter was closed, not just closed like a door, but it was closed. I should translate this word. You should understand. I should understand what I mean. One moment. Language barrier. Sorry, my dears. The door was sealed. I'm right, say it. Sealed. With a special mechanism. Yes, and the door in a bombing shelter was sealed, and people cannot go to the shelter. The villagers of Chicago Oblast send greetings. Jaga Jaga, thanks for your support, the Sun Express. Very thank you. Jaga Jaga. So yes, I'm seeing a lot of questions. Where is Batman? Where is Batman? Batman coming so soon. He announced this broadcast, and I will invite him so soon. Just a couple news, and we invite Batman. So, what about I thought, my dears? Russian media doesn't show real situation, and they say that it's a fake, that nobody doesn't fight on a Russian territory, and blah blah blah. But so interesting. It's a photo. It's a first trophy on a border checkpoint, Graivoran. It's a Belgorod region. So you can see green books, ID cards of FSB, Russian passports, and sign of this checkpoint. And it's a first trophy on a Frontline, on a Belgorod Frontline. Fighters for Russian freedom do this trophy, and it's a good news. And Chuck Yamarets, Slava California Republic Oblast. My dears, so question. For what you just add the word oblast? It's a Ukrainian style. Thanks for your donation, Chuck Yamarets. Thanks. And Dana also. Hello from the Beverly Hills Oblast. Slava Ukraini. Jaga Jaga. Thanks for your donation, Jaga Jaga. Hello for the sunny Beverly Hills. For me, like a Beverly Hills, it's like a heaven in a United States. I don't know, in a United States space. I heard that in a Beverly Hills, so very very expensive build houses, a very very expensive flats, and very very expensive life. But so thank you, Downa. Money, thanks for your donation. You are the future of Ukraine. Very thank you. But money, really, you're right, because I'm just a younger generation. I'm just a 24 now, and our generation will make change in Ukrainian. We will some changes in Ukraine, because more oldest generation is a Soviet type of character, but I think my young generation will do something with our country, and I think we will do something better. So yes, and without the but trophy, we have not only our trophy, Ministry of Russian Armed Forces, report but captured vehicle. It's a Ukrainian MRAP Kazakh, and it's a MRAP of RDK. They use this signal, this cross, and this MRAP was captured in a Russian territory. And Ministry of the Defense of Russia, they accepted and agree it. So media thinks that Russian people stupid. They can't find contact between armed forces of Russia and between Russian media. They have a different way. Media say that always okay. Armed forces say that always bad. So my dears, now it's a fresh situation on Belgorod Republic. in the Belgorod Republic, and as I am promise, I wanna invite a special guest. You know, it's my friend Batman. It's a Polish guy. You a lot of times heard about him in our broadcast. He's so active user of the chat, and now he's on a front line. He fight now on a Donbas region. I will not say the accuracy about it. I think that if he have idea about it, he told about it. But one moment, and we invite our friend Batman. Just a 1 minute pause. So yes, and we should wait in a couple minutes. Wait. It's so soon. You know, it's something new for our channel because before it we doesn't invite guests, and it will be something new for us. Cheers, my dears. I make decisions that I will not show Red Bull in the future because they will not, because they don't pay me. Okay, and Batman are here. I hope you see good and hear good. Batman, say hello.
Well, it's been a long time since I'm overdue for this one, so hello everybody. Greetings from the Donbass. How's everybody doing today?
And traditionally, we wait pluses. I'm just a first question. Do you hear good, Batman? And do you see good? And we will wait pluses from you and start our discuss. If you get here, Batman, if you get see Batman, just write plus in a chat.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Beautiful. I'm C pluses and beautiful. So Batman, couple maybe biggest part of active users and active viewers of our broadcast. When they watching our broadcast, they see your activity in a chat. And one moment, I'm just now. I will say it. Thanks for your support, Albert Bayer. When you make donation or where you do something, just write text in this message and I will read. You can write what do you wanna. How do you have? You can write in these messages. I will read it. And so, Batman, tell about yourself because our viewers wanna meet with you. They wanna more detailed information about you.
Well, obviously, it's not going to be a lot of detailed information for security reasons, obviously. But hey, everybody, I'm Batman. I'm a Polish volunteer fighter in Ukraine, actively participating in the fighting since May last year, so just over a year now. But I've been in Ukraine since the fourth day of the war. February 28th was the first time that I've crossed the border. In the beginning, I was commanding a team of NATO veterans that used their own cars. We were driving around Ukraine hotspots, evacuating civilians, pretty much where hardly anybody was going. We were just, taking our private cars and just snatch and grab some people and take them to Europe, take them to safety. Pretty much everybody we saved there, they lost everything. So we did a good chunk of a good job there. And Well, April time, funding unfortunately dried up for that project because it was a massive drain on our private funds because we were a self-founded project. And we've decided to get ourselves involved actively. So, because most of us, as you've already heard, we are veterans of different NATO countries. I myself, I was a NCO, a non-commissioned officer in the Polish Army for several years, and also a sniper and an instructor at the NCO Academy in Poland. So I've joined a battalion in the Donbass, one battalion that Pasha was also operating with in the Battle of Drobizhne, his favorite battalion, of course. and and yeah, I didn't manage to for time to get into Drobizhne. Drobizhne has fallen before I came over, but starting in early May last year, I've started participating in all the combat operations of my battalion around the defense of Liman at that time still, at the defense of Belgorod, somewhere around Bakhmut. Even we met with Pasha near to his Solidar home once. That was a nice encounter for another completely another video. Yeah. And yeah, Lysychansk, close to Severodonetsk, all those areas. And after that, I have gained a lot of trust in the battalion simply because of my prior experience. I was also a contractor working in Africa and the Middle East for a number of years. And my experience was invaluable for the volunteer battalion that I have joined of the National Guard of Ukraine. And well, it was pretty much natural that I started sharing my experience with the guys, sharing the my capabilities as an instructor as well. So we set up this sort of frontline training center. Got bombarded a few times during lessons, but hey, that's how it is here. And to train the entire battalion, we managed to train a lot of different units that heard about this NATO standard training
NATO
center that
standards.
opened. Yeah, that opened up in Slavansk, in the close to Slavansk, and yeah, once the counteroffensive started last year, our battalion was deeply involved, and clearly owing to the training that myself and my group of instructors have provided, our battalion has sustained very limited losses. And we have gained a lot of ground. We have gained a lot of trophies. The battalion itself trophied 3 tanks, one of which was done by myself and a buddy of mine, but that's a different story as well.
Thanks for
And
Russian army for Lend-Lease for
oh yeah,
Ukrainian battalion.
that was very good. That was very good. Yeah, we
So
love all the
Batman,
freebies.
we see first question. You know, if you will tell your stories, it will
Yeah,
be
we can stay until tomorrow. Yeah, just
yeah,
for but yeah, it's been a long year.
we can make a special post. No, not post. Special book, maybe on a 100, 200
We're gonna
pages about your
We're
life
gonna write
story.
many books, buddy. We're gonna
Yeah,
write many books
yeah.
after
But
this whole thing is
little bit
over.
later, it's a new startup, but we wanna
Sure, go
thanks
for it.
for D Richardson. Thanks for your donation, D Richardson, and don't forget to write something in your donation. And OZT, OZT Batman. Thanks for your service and sharing with us. Thanks, Pasha.
No
It's OZT
problem.
says for you. And Batman, first question for you. I think it's not first because when you say hello, I'm seeing a chat more than 1,000 question. Hello, Batman. But I'm see first question. It's Richard Parnell ask. Question for Batman. You're Polish. Where did you learn your English from? It's better than most native speakers.
Oh, that's actually quite an easy question to answer because I'm a little bit older than Pasha, quite a bit older actually. So pretty much once the commie bloc collapsed, like there was this new wave of freedom everywhere, and I was then in my early years. I was 6 when communism collapsed, really, and pretty much the first TV channel that appeared on Polish cable TV that was in English was Cartoon Network. What else can you ask for being a 6-year-old? Like there's a TV channel which is only cartoons, and you can just sit there, and it's all in English. You don't understand a freaking word, but you see, you see that something's happening, and then you start, like making things connect to what, and you just gain the language. It's the same mechanism as the first language that a kid learns. They don't understand what's being taught to them. They just start making out what means what, and this is pretty much how I learned English. And I tell a story that my grandfather, he always told me, you need to know the language of the enemy. And since then, the Americans were the number one enemy.
My dear, so
I learned English, yeah,
you
but
should.
let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
And obviously he was a lieutenant colonel in the Polish army at that time, and he always was like, you need to know the language of the enemy. So hey, okay, French, English, yeah, something like that. And then he went like, but don't forget to learn Russian, just in case. So yeah, that's why I also speak Russian.
So yeah, it's so interesting because at this time, enemies of enemy, it was English, French, really for because of for Soviet generation people. Enemies, it was really West world NATO countries because you know that Poland was so long time under Soviet occupation, and yeah, it's have some influence on the Polish people, and but we're now when Soviet Union was broken, Poland is independent country, Ukraine is independent country. We are trying to come back our history, our own history, our traditions. So and Poland little bit more far than Ukraine to Russia, and give make
We hate the bastards.
make influence on the Poland little bit difficult for Russia, but Ukraine is a neighbor of these suckers, and yeah, they influence on all time. And we wanna say thanks for donation for Deeple Pal. Deeple Pal write free Belgorod. Not Belgorod.
You're the best.
Belgorod People Republic. Belgorod People Republic. It's a independent republic. You know, it's not
Oh
just a
yeah,
Belgorod.
it's about you didn't quite get the connotation of the first donation, because what it is, yeah, why they call it the California People's Republic, because it's so liberal, it's so like literally communist. They started calling it actually Comifornia. Hey, but hey, like we are the Nazis in this conflict, and we are being sponsored by commies. I mean, like, hey, we're onto something when we're definitely gonna win if even the commies sponsor us. Thanks very much. God bless California.
We have friends from California, not from California, from California. It's really good guys. It's about you, my dear viewers. And we want to thanks for Christopher Ellis and for Honey Badger Steel. What do you don't write in the messages? Write something. And Gerton Last 2020. Thanks for your work. Slava Ukraini. Героям
Honey
слава.
Badger, Honey Badger Steel is actually a buddy of mine that helped me with the evacuations. He's a Belgian army veteran, veteran of Afghan and Mali. Good to see you, Pete. Good to see you in the chat.
Ah, do you know who is Honey Badger Steel? So beautiful. Your personal fans and your personal friends are coming. So today on this broadcast we have a really big activity because now on a broadcast 310 people. It's a small record for my broadcast. Really, thanks, my dear, that you are coming. We appreciate your support. We appreciate that you are here. So, Batman, my dears, have difference between me and Batman now. I'm streaming from my flat in Kyiv region, but Batman with us now from the front line. So Batman, can you tell some couple updates from the front line, from your direct? How your guys, how your battalion, how is Russians orcs? Little bit about situation.
Yeah, so basically, my battalion has redeployed to the Donbas region in mid-April this year. We have taken positions just south of the city of Kremina. Pretty much, we are the easternmost part of a gigantic forest that is just a jungle filled with burning wrecks and constant artillery bombardment. It's pretty crazy up there because in the beginning it was still the wet season. That entire forest was just full of mud, and we pretty much over the first week of operations, we pretty much lost to mud about 70% of our vehicles. So we had to wait until it dries up for us to take them out of the mud and repair them. So that was a big disadvantage in itself, and you need to drive through this forest about 15 kilometers to get to our positions under constant bombardment because the northern side of that forest is controlled by the orcs, and it's a very thin stretch of land that we're still holding there. And yeah, and it's been a little bit quiet over there in the last week, since simply because the weather has changed over the last 2 weeks. So we got a lot of good sunny weather here on the Donbass for the last 2 weeks, and this allowed us to be more flexible, get a little bit more supplies into the guys that were actually on the lines. We could actually conduct some recon and harassing operations of our own. And yeah, we were settled in the positions. We're basically just defending at the moment. But we're just waiting for the go-ahead to start the offensive, and we'll see where that will take us. Not a lot of movement in our sector, but a lot of bombardment, a lot of artillery fire, which is pretty much standard for the Donbass, how it was for the entirety of last year. Few Russian units have been moved out of our sector and taken to Bakhmut. The 200th Motostrelky Brigade has been taken over there. I just love it how they called it the 200th, given the fact what 200 means in Russian. The 200th Brigade was taken over to reinforce Bakhmut, and that cleared up a lot of trenches on their side, and we see less activity on their side. But unfortunately, they're constantly bombarding us with artillery, mortars, phosphorus. They want to burn us out from our position, really, pretty much. Yeah. Any sort of movement constantly gets attention. We have difficulty in deepening the trench lines that we have simply because of their harassing fire. But we're doing our stuff. We know how to cunningly, mislead them into what we're doing and draw their artillery fire when we want to draw it too, and that allows us to do some work on other parts of our positions. So yeah, we're holding strong. We're gaining some ground little by little, but we're just waiting for the go-ahead to start the offensive.
Everybody waited. Yeah, so yeah, I heard it at first. Sorry, my dears. I wanna say thanks for donation, Rick Sanchez, and I one way thanks for your support. We appreciate it, my dears. And yes, I'm heard. I'm watch updates that on your direct artillery is so intensive, and they real do a lot of war crimes when they use cassette bombs, when they use flame towers like Atos Buratino or something like this. Yeah, they are real. They do real shit. And so interesting fact, Batman. I think you give me opportunity to talk about it. So they have a fight in a forest, biggest part on a. You confirm with me? I can't tell about it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
and now
Gigantic jungle.
they have fight biggest part of the combats they have in a forest. Uh, uh, from my personal experience, combat in a forest, it's a second, a second herb. It's a second stage of shit after city. City. I think it's, in my opinion, city. It's a real shit. It's a meat grinder. But next, it's a forest because no orienters, no covers, very bad terrain for the digging, very bad terrain for the trench. So big activities of the reconnaissance group of diversants, so many landmines, anti-infantry mines, and other shit. And when you use flame towers like Athos Buratino or something like this, or like Sonsepek in a forest at summer, it will be real shit because dry trees, dry grass, it's very very dangerous for infantry, Batman. And if you are can agree, I just show photo what you send me today. Yeah, with position in a forest and GGS curveball. Thanks, Pasha and Batman, for your service. Greeting from the Netherlands. Thanks for your support, curveball. And Mushroom Many, thanks for your donation. So yes, I'm just wanna show one photo.
Yeah, so basically, I do agree completely with you, Pasha, and in some regards, I would even add to that the forest has requirements of its own, and in some respects, it's more difficult to fight in a forest than it is in urban terrain, simply because of the lack of cover. Pretty much every bit of cover and every bit of stuff that you use as a shelter, it's not man-made. Well, it's not built. It's not concrete. It's not reinforced concrete. It's not a cellar of a building, right? That is 5 stories high. It's all things that you've created yourself. It's all things that you have dug up and then reinforced. And this whole operation, 99% of the times, is under constant bombardment from the other side. You need to take into consideration that, well, trees are not really good for taking a lot of fire when it comes to artillery cassettes and incendiary munitions, simply because, well, wood burns. Who would have guessed, right? A lot of the places in that forest are completely stripped of any branches, any foliage, even though, like we're in the spring season, like you get a lot of foliage that usually would conceal you. Unfortunately, the foliage is completely destroyed in many places of that forest. It's just, like trunks of trees, just bits of trunks just staying high into the sky, and that's pretty much it. So that's ideal situation for the reconnaissance drones that are being used en masse by both us and the Russians. They got a little bit of an advantage now when it comes to the long-range reconnaissance drones, so they can penetrate our airspace a little bit better than we can penetrate theirs. And unfortunately, we don't get as much cover. We don't have as much cover simply because the trees are gone and the foliage is gone. So we need to improvise. We need to improvise. We need to constantly think of how can we draw their fire to where we want their fire to be expended, right? So we do a little bit of this and that to cause a little bit of confusion in the Russians. What is a legitimate target? What is not a legitimate target? We minimize the amount of movement. We like conceal our positions the best way we can. We reinforce the shelters, and it's a complete shit show. It's a freaking jungle. It's a
Yeah,
jungle.
it's a real jungle.
It's a
Yeah,
jungle.
it's just a Donbas type of Vietnam, So I agree with Batman on the 100% because on a tree, it's just only from my experience. In a forest, it's unreal to make some cover. General your cover, it's a nature, it's a trees, it's a Бэтмен, як називається корінь? Скажи корінь англійською.
It's better to call it all foliage because foliage is everything that's green, right? Well, yeah, green. Yeah.
Okay, so, дякую. So yes, it's very very difficult, and forest it's a real shit. I hope you and your guys will be more successful on this direct. That you kill more biggest numbers of the work, and I hope that your battalion will increase in numbers of the Russian losses. I hope that it's you guys make number every day more biggest. I mean this number that
Yeah, we do this. We do know this forest because we actually did finish half of my battalion actually finished our previous rotation back in January in this forest. So we're pretty much accustomed to the majority of the places that we're operating at the moment. It has changed quite a lot simply because that was winter time, so it was completely different, right? The soil was frozen. It was much more difficult to dig in, yeah, we are acquainted with this forest and we know how to operate it within this forest. When we were leaving this forest in January, we were only about a bit less than 2 kilometers away from the city of Kremina. Then the battalion that changed us got a little bit pummeled. So they gave a little bit of ground. So we're now at about 6 kilometers away from Kremina, but we know that area. We know it. We know its strong points, we know its weak points, and we know where to penetrate if we need to.
So yeah, Kremina was, and it's now a real shit point on a front line of Ukraine. But we make a little pause. We make a little pause for say thanks for that. Daniel Muniman. It's umlaut, Muneman, if I don't mistake, if I'm right reading German language, Muneman. Slava Ukraini, free Russia, stay safe and best wishes from Germany. Героям слава. Slava Ukraini, Daniel, thanks for your support and we say thanks for the journey. Привіт, дорогий мій, перемога Україні from Perth Oblast, Western Australia. Hello to Australia, Perth Oblast. Thanks for...
G'day, mate.
Thanks for your support. And Tony Ottison. Hello, Tony. It's Tony. Thanks for your support. And my dears, do you know that question function is working? And sometimes I will check your question for Demi or for Batman. And it's on every broadcast. If you watch all my broadcasts, Batman, you know that I'm just to use question function for answering on a question, because in our general chat,
question.
on our general chat we have a really so good activities, and I can skip your question, because so many messages. And if you, my dear viewers, will use question function, it will be more easy for answering or your question. So
I can do all sorts of accents. Well, I can speak American if you want me to, but I don't really like that.
So when first question, Kellen Dunn. Hi Pasha, do you think the Belgorod attack is just a raid for duration or something more like an incursion? Will the brave warriors be able to make it out of Belgorod back to Ukraine safely? So I'm just have opinion about this operation. After me, I think Batman, you give your opinion, you said your opinion, but only in my opinion, it's just it's a dry analytics of medias. It's a dry analytic of speech our generals. Operation in Belgorod. Its operations. It was initiated by Russian volunteers for making small revolution on a Russian territory. In my opinion, it was operation, and the main target of this operation, it's said for the Russian people wake up. main target of this operation, it was show for the Russian civilian that Russian army is nothing, that Russian civilian now in not in a safety place, and they should do something with his government. They should change government, and no one of Ukrainian military instruction doesn't took responsibility for this operation. And this operation do only Russian volunteers. It's Russian civilians who just go to Ukraine. Yes, it's 100%. And we give some helps for him. That we give some armaments for him. That we give maybe couple APCs, couple MRAPs. But this operation do only Russian civilians. And in an international area, in a world
We've
area.
got our first, Soviet bot in the chat. I can see. You will нахуй, сука, not win.
Avoid bad words. I'm this man, and I'm just a blocked. I doesn't talk a lot with these guys. I'm just a block these guys.
Perfect, and then he's gone.
And yes, and so many. He writes so many messages. Bots. And so yes, I think its main target is just an increasing situation inside of Russia. It's only my opinion. Maybe you have same opinion or another, but stop. We say thanks for support for Sly Walker. Much love from Australia, Pasha and Batman. Do you see yourself making more ground in the next few weeks?
I don't know. Maybe.
What do you think
Maybe not.
We'll try. Thanks for support, Sly Walker. And Batman, what do you think about the last operation in Russia, in Belgorod? What do you think about it?
Yeah, so basically, by military standards, it was somewhere between a probing attack and a raid, in my opinion. Not much of an incursion, more of a raid than an incursion. Pretty much to check on one side to check the how well the Russians are actually dug in at the border. See what type of rapid reaction forces they actually have in reserve in those areas to cover the border. Like they were pretty accustomed to, like Ukraine not having to go ahead to do incursions into Russia. It was good to see what it actually stands for and see how they would react to it. How well their troops at the border are trained. It turned out that there are pretty much no troops over there. So very useful amount of information for us, for the higher-ups in Ukraine here. And on the other side, it did install a lot of panic. There was a lot of panic in on the Russian side, in the civilian side. They finally felt that they're not untouchable. That this whole thing can just turn around and get them involved as well. But then again, you have the completely different side, as you've already mentioned, that this was entirely conducted by Russian nationals. No other foreigners were involved, as far as I know. And yeah, it's there is a lot of people that are pissed off in Russia for what Putin got them into, and this is a natural reaction from the populace. There's definitely going to be a massive number of people that are not going to go along with this whole war. They're not going to tolerate Putin anymore and his cronies. And yeah, people got organized. We supplied them with what they needed. They did the job. I mean, they have every right to, sort out their own issues with Putin's regime as they see fit, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, more of a, as I've said, more of a raid or probing attack than an actual incursion. I don't think they're there to stay. I think they just went in there to, get it done, see how it goes, and do some cool photos, and scare the shit out of everybody in Russia.
But now we will wait only referendum in Belgorod Republic for joining to Ukraine. Free Belgorod. So. And a question from the calendar. Do you think the Russian army is stupid or is it just a social media? So I think it's influence of the social media, it's influence of Ukrainian social media, because Russian soldiers, Russian army is not stupid. They have a lot of high quality professionals, they have a lot of high quality artillerymen, pilots, tankers, infantries. Russian special forces is too so strong, and we can't say that Russian soldier is stupid. It's a meme about stupid Russian soldiers is its result of using mobilized people like Amit, because mobilized people who was called in service during mobilization previous year, yeah, they really had not enough training, they not enough prepared, they doesn't have enough ammunition and gear equipment, but they doesn't stupid, they doesn't have experience, yeah. It's just we say that they stupid because Russian commanding use him like a meat, and they just running and they have no choice. And on a field, when Ukrainian soldier from the trench see how Russian soldier just running through the field, across the field, they think here he or crazy or stupid, yes. And I think but that Russian army is stupid, it's only thanks for demobilized people, because regular professional army, they have a lot of high experienced specialists. And don't forget that thanks for the Russian media, before full-scale invasion, they say that Russia it's a second army of the world, and they have enough metal, enough tanks, enough artillery rounds, enough jets, enough helicopters. Yes, we destroyed a big part, but and for today they have enough, and it's a very very dangerous enemy. It's not stupid enemy, it's dangerous enemy.
Yeah, you guys need to understand one thing, right? When they came all in, like Kiev in 3 days and all that stuff, they actually did use pretty specialized forces, right? Where Paschal is, it's right next door to Gostomel Airport. Paschal was involved in that fight. We've went with Pasha to see if his house was still standing after the Gostomel got liberated. And the people that came in first and the ones that were fighting in the first few months, they were professionals. They knew what they were doing. They had the training, had the experience, they had the equipment, they had the support, but they didn't manage to get their stuff through, right? Then that bunch of people started being, kind of depleted. So they took a step back and they put them back into more specialized roles. And this is pretty much what we've been seeing. It's usually they tend to keep their more specialized and more experienced soldiers a little bit further back, keep the newer, fresher units on the actual front line, like MOBICs, convicts, and stuff like that. They use them, but it's not only using them as cannon fodder. No, they're using them for specific reasons, like to get to do probing attacks against our positions, to know where we are actually at, to know where those more experienced, like artillery operators, tank operators, then they know drone operators as well. They have very good drone operators. These less experienced troops will just be used to find our positions so those more experienced troops that they keep a little bit further back, they can do their stuff to us. And they're very freaking professional at that. They're not risking professional experienced soldiers as much as they did in the beginning, right? They've taken a step back, and this is how they're doing. This what can I say? It's a strategy that's old as the earth. Like this was Roman legion. You had the triarii system, right? So like veterans in the very back. Like less experienced soldiers, but still experienced in the middle, and freshies in the front. This is exactly how they're doing it now. When you get a little bit of experience, they pull you back a little bit, use you for training, use you for more specialized tasks, and yeah, that's pretty much how they operate at the moment. And it's a tough fight. It is a tough fight.
It's a really good saying, Batman, because I'm just think about Bakhmut operation in autumn of previous year. Yes, when Mobics have a first close contact. Yeah, really they doesn't used like a cannon folder. We see it's like a cannon folder, but main task of Mobic it was finding searching Ukrainian fire position. And when Mobics do it, Wagner high professional soldiers start his assault, and it was a very rapidly, very quick and very strong assault, and they do his assault successfully, really. So yes, every
Yeah.
types of units have a task for this unit, and in my opinion, biggest part of success depends from commanding and depends from plans. I'm just remember Hostomel Airport. After all this shit, maybe after 2 or 3 months, I watched video how Russian airbornes do assault on Hostomel airports, and it was a very high trained operation. It's good planning, and they do it so successfully. But when we meet in Irpin with same brigade, it's two were airborne. They don't know what they do because they have no planning, they have no commanding on this place. Yeah, it's biggest part of success depends from commanding. It's doing right thing. So
Yeah,
and wait,
very good that you
wait,
mentioned that.
wait. Baron Piotr Wrangel, the Belgorod Public Republic is real and did nothing wrong. Thanks for your donation. I hope it's true, and we will wait Belgorod Republic so soon. And Ivan 0590, today in a Belgorod special military operation, it was reported that the Russian army was the second strongest army in the region. Yeah, maybe only in Russia it's the second strongest army, because Ukrainian army first in a Russian region.
Yeah, I just love the comparisons. Like they compared that we've taken 8 kilometers in a day, and Wagner's pretty much took Wagner's 230 days to take 8 kilometers of Bakhmut. I just love that.
Uh, so, Batman, I think now time. I should ask you. I see a lot of. Sorry, do you hear me good? Because say something.
Oh yeah, sure, sure, sure,
Ah,
sure. Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm
They
here.
hear me good, and I hear you good. And I see a lot of question for you, Batman. But do you have your website or you have your YouTube channel? And I think that now time for announce our project. I will wait a couple of words about the project. But before it, we should say thanks for the secular Sekai. Слава Україні за свободу Росії. Thanks, secular
Героям
Sekai.
слава.
Yeah, I think that you should tell a
Yeah.
couple of words about our project.
Yeah, so basically what it is, working on the experience that myself and Pasha actually had over the last year, we have decided to set up a new project. that we'll be focusing on in the next months of the war until pretty much until the end and after. And the project is called the Winged Hussars. It's basically the name, if anybody knows history of Central Europe, Winged Hussars were elite Polish cavalry of the 16th, 17th century, characterized by very flexible tactics and pretty much kicking the ass of pretty much everybody they actually did come into contact with. And
Yeah,
caveat,
we had a good fight.
caveat, caveat. The Ukrainian foot infantry was the only infantry in Europe that actually could stop the Winged Hussars. So kudos to the Cossack-led infantry. Yeah, you actually did give us a hard time one or two times. So, but anyway, going back to the project, the aim of the project is to first and foremost provide high-level NATO standard training for Ukrainian army units that lack proper training, or they, for some bizarre reason, they do not have access to it. But also, we will also create content both for the military and for civilians. You know, like talks about gear, talks about tactics, talks about things that, from our experience in this war, can save you should a similar situation happen in your country. Because you know, like everybody thought, like 21st century, you're not gonna have a full-scale war in Europe. Well, kind of didn't work out now, did it? So yeah, it's always better to be prepared. It's always better to listen to people that actually have the experience, that they know what they're talking about. And this is the type of content that we'll be creating. At the moment, more information about the project can be found on my Instagram, which is batman.batman. I will write in. Can you write in the chat?
Yeah,
The Instagram. Yeah.
I see
Just,
I
yeah.
can.
And yeah, just put the link to the Instagram. We've already started doing taking some videos for our YouTube channel, but that actually requires a lot of work on my part, and I simply do not have the time at the moment because, well, I'm knees deep in daily operations, so I don't really have a lot of time. But we'll get there. We'll surely, slowly but surely, gain traction, and if we can manage to do a little bit extra, because we've got some other professional instructors coming in from other countries that will help us with the project. This is pretty much what we're going to be doing. A lot of similar initiatives have been seen in Ukraine, but the biggest problem with those is usually it's people with experience, but people that are not professional instructors. Because you know, like having experience in one thing, knowing how to properly share that experience with others is a completely different thing, right? Me myself, I'm an instructor in the field of military related stuff for like 15 years now. So, and I've seen Pasha working. Pasha is also a very good instructor. You know, like he's been instructing his battalion for a long time before the actual hostilities broken out. And owing to people like Pasha, their battalion was really professional in the opening stages of the war and thereafter. So this is the people that we are going to be working with. We've also got a really good buddy of mine that is a combat medic. He's actually a paramedic. He's a ex-Polar Special Forces paramedic that will be coming over to Ukraine to help us with the medical training side of things. So yeah, we're slowly but surely building on our experience, and we will try to do as much as we can to train as many Ukrainians, and then obviously we put our actions where our words are. So usually what we're going to be doing, we're going to deploy with the unit that we've trained, and we're going to participate in active combat with them, just to prove that, well, this is how it should be, this is how it works, and we're not afraid to, you know, like, get involved ourselves to show you that it actually does work.
So Thanks so much, Batman, for a good rate for my work, and really, uh, in real, in real, we have a very very different situation between brigade, for example, in National Guard. For example, a brigade like mine, it was a real professional infantry brigade. They had a good training before. They had a real professional regular soldiers, and they had this experience. Before full-scale invasion, yes, but battalions like battalion what Bartak working now, and I'm worked with my brothers before. So yes, it doesn't have enough instructors. It doesn't have enough experience. If they have instructors, it's instructors from the special tasks brigade of National Guard. Doesn't mean special forces. Doesn't mean spetsnaz. I mean, it's a special task. It's a defense, public order. It's a convoy of prisoner, and these people who work like instructor in a unit like a Bartosz unit, they can't give enough information for the soldier who will fight like infantry. Yes, and
Yeah,
we have
it's
very
simply,
very
simply like that. Yeah.
yeah, we have very very different experience between brigade and different instructors and brigade. Yeah, in Ukraine we tried to provide in NATO standards, NATO instructors, NATO study system, but now biggest part of the Ukrainian brigade just a try to do it. Not everybody know how to do, and now we really need high experienced instructors. So yeah, maybe these instructors cannot have a combat experience, for example, but he good specialist by his specialty. He's combat medic. He is I don't know infantry specialist, because in Ukraine, for example, in my brigade, you cannot be an instructor if you doesn't done special instructor course, and we really need high professional instructors. But National Guard study system for this time, for this period, for this type of war, it's not enough for the infantry. It's a very very small part of information. It's a very very small part of training. It's training without practice. In a biggest part, it's training without practice. They just I'm told about biggest part of NGU brigade, yeah, with a task like a defense public order or something like this. The biggest part of this training, they just are watching on his AK-74, and he doesn't know what he should do with him. And the biggest part of this super duper convoy or riot control instructors forgot about group weapon like SPG-9, AGS-17, and they forgot how soldiers should work in a section, how should work in platoon. They forgot about it. They forgot about engineering training, because biggest part of the people who just are coming on the front line, they don't know how should do make a trench, how make a small ditch. They don't know, because instructor doesn't show it before. And yes, I hope that our project, he's working now only with one battalion. Sometimes it's working with civilian. I'm just losing what don't know what Batman do, because he's so rapidly man. Now he work with, for example, now he work with civilian. Tomorrow he work with battalion. Yeah, but we hope that our project
I'm a busy man.
yeah, will be more extended, and we will work with a more biggest number of brigade, with the biggest number of Ukrainian soldier and Ukrainian volunteers, because it's more important. Because high trained soldier, it's like a 10 or 15 not trained soldier. And I think, in my opinion, Bartak, sorry, but I should correct you. It's a project not only about training. It's not only about training. It's project about people. It's project about his life. It's project about Frontline. So
Yes, of course.
can I, Benjamin? Can I announce some, you know, I hope that you are done its task. So I wanna announce one video so soon. We try to prepare in some interview with a volunteer who fight in Ukraine now like a medic and now he's saving Ukrainian life on a front line. It's will be project not only about training. It will be about life and life in a war. So
Yeah, of course. That's what I meant when I said that we're going to create content that's not only training related. It's another thing that we will also get as much info to you guys about the stuff, as Pasha said, the life at war, right? You know, like sharing the experiences of people that we personally work with or have worked with. And the person that Pasha is talking about is actually another foreigner that works currently for my battalion. He's South African, but he calls himself British, but he's really South African. And yeah, he's helping us a great deal lot. He's also a volunteer. He's, as myself, we are not being paid by the Ukrainian government. We're doing it as volunteer fighters. We are not paid a single dime. So he is also looking for donations for his cause, and he's very helpful for us. We will of course get him on, and other people like him. We will get them on our channel, and we'll start making content like this. Yeah, also for the people and about the people, because one of the more distant goals of the project is once this war is over, we will never forget about the soldiers that have fought in this war. Another aim of the project is to provide the Ukrainian veterans or Ukrainian war veterans with training possibilities, getting them reintegrated into society. Because myself, being a social psychologist by trade, I do know by fact how difficult it is sometimes for war veterans to reintegrate back to society. Also, we will provide them with job opportunity. We aim to provide them with job opportunities in a lot of different sectors, in security consulting, active consulting in security, in offshore and onshore. All sorts of stuff that we can do, and also in training of police forces, law enforcement, armies around the world, because the experience gained by the Ukrainians in this war is going to be invaluable to pretty much everybody in the world. Yeah.
I wanna say thanks for our dear donators and Donna Olson, message from Donna. Have you noticed the difference in the soldiers who have received enhanced training abroad? So I hope that I'm give answer on your question, dear Donna, in my previous speech. Yes, it's a very big difference between soldiers who have training and who have not training. It's a very big difference, and I hope that I'm answer so I'm give a good answer in my previous speech. And very thanks for mural care. Mural, I can't see your full nickname, but I'm not but I'm understand that you are from New Zealand. Thanks for your support. And Yuri Fedoruk to thanks for your support. And to Gert McHale, my dears, we appreciate your support, very thank you. But my dears who give donation, just write something in a message. I will read it in a broadcast and answer on your question if you give question here.
Yeah, elaborating a little bit about what Donna was asking for, you need to take into consideration that there is a limit on the capacity of training for the Ukrainian army. Don't forget that the Ukrainian army, as it is now, it's roughly anything between 800,000 to a million people active under arms, either partaking in active combat or doing some things in the rear echelons. To train 800,000 people, even for the US Army, it would be a gigantic feat. And resources-wise, they are limited, yeah? So obviously we cannot train everybody in Germany, or we cannot train everybody in Canada, even though we would like to provide them with proper NATO standard training. But if initiatives like ours can provide training under the same guidelines, because this is the things that we teach, this is nothing that we've thought up ourselves. Yeah, we train by the book. We know the book. I'm a former NATO NCO Academy instructor. I follow the book because I know it works. Yeah, it's a simple thing. Like when I came to Ukraine and people were just going like, "Oh, this is how we do it." Like your stuff will not work, and I go like, "Yeah." I've all told them outright, "Listen, the way how you're doing things now is pretty much according to a book that someone sometimes wrote, and there's a very good possibility that that person was the same person that wrote the Russians book. So in this situation, you know what they're going to do, they know what you're going to do. It's always going to be best case scenario, it's going to be 1-for-1. Unfortunately, there's 150 million Russians and there's only 40 million Ukrainians, right? Not very good odds. But in turn, if you start doing things in a way they don't understand and you still understand how they're going to do their stuff, you're in an advantage. That's where we manage to become a force multiplier for a lot of these units. And don't forget, as Pash already said, like his battalion, his brigade was a professional brigade, right? The battalion that I've fought with and I'm currently with at the moment, this is a battalion of volunteers. This is just a bunch of guys that at the beginning of the war they got together, got a commander, and they're fighting, right? So the training level that they had was varied. The standard, for example, the standard age in my battalion is much greater than in Pasha's battalion, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah,
standard age for my battalion is about 45 plus. So
yeah. It's true.
that's a problem in itself, right? So you need to tweak the type of training that you do, the way that you conduct training operations to this type of people, right? And utilize their skills from civilian life and their prior military service to best to reach a goal that best fits their capabilities and experience. So if we can actually provide this sort of training to units like this that do not have the manpower, do not have the resources, because they're, for example, volunteer units or Terra Barone units, this will save lives. First and foremost, it will save lives. Yeah. And on the other spectrum, it will make the unit be more effective in any type of operation, right? And this is what we're after at the moment. Save Ukrainian lives, make them more efficient, make them a lot more Russian ass. And pretty much there's nothing anymore to prove. We have already proven that our way of conducting things is superior. My battalion has only sustained 22 fatalities over the whole year. We haven't been rotated for 11 months. We were constantly in combat for 11 months, and we've only sustained 22 killed in action. And judging by Ukrainian standards, that's unbelievable. I've just spoken to a lot of people, Pasha can concur, that this is very good numbers. And this is owed mainly, and this is not only me bragging about it, this is the opinion of the higher command of the battalion, and pretty much that's why I'm where I am.
So yeah, how Bartosz already, how Batman already said, yeah, it's real because at first I wanna tell about very big difference in the age between, for example, my brigade and his battalion. It's a very big difference. As he said, my soldier it's 24, 25 middle age. His soldiers it's not less than 40 year. We should understand that it's a different tasks, it's a different health status, it's a different strange, it's a very very big difference when you have a young and very energized soldier in your unit, and when you have men of the middle age with troubles with health, and I don't know, with a bad health status. It's a really big difference, and from this difference depends successful of this unit. But very very good training, very high training instructors who give information for these guys can save life for him, because yeah, as you said, use insight, they can show insight for him, and I don't know, opportunity to survive increasing when they do very very good training. And sometimes from the age depends nothing from the age, because old men more than 50 years can fight better than 18 years or 20 years young guy. Always depends from the high training. So, and Honey Badger Steel. It is okay if I post account and for Winged Hussars. Yes, it's okay. I'm do it too. Thanks, Honey Badger Steel. And Rhonda Bailey accomplished it up to 23 will set Ukraine 3. We hope that it's true. Thanks for your support, Rhonda Bailey and Honey Badger Steel. And two thanks for support, Roberto Waggia. Hey, Batman. Yeah, you hear me good?
Of course I do.
So after 1 minute will be 24 May.
Really? Is it already that day?
Yeah.
Polish Special Forces Day.
No, my dears, tomorrow.
It actually is.
Stop.
24th of May is Polish Special Forces Day.
It's not so important. It's not so important. I know more important information. Tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. After 1 minute by Ukrainian time, Batman have birthday, and
You
after.
bastard.
I'm just a 10 second, man. Just a 10 second. And happy birthday, Batman.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. You're 18 today or 19? My dear.
I usually say that I've got 20 years of experience being 18 years old.
My dears, please sing happy birthday to the Batman, and Batman personally from me best wishes. I'm not do it in Ukrainian, it will be so intim. Бен, здоровечка тобі, щастячка, дивись, щоб все виходило, щоб все в тебе було добре. Це буде секрет для наших підписчиків, щоб вони не узнали, що я тобі кажу. Хай довго думають. Я тебе ще поздравлю окремо з днем народження. Ти не старий, ти досвідчений.
Дякую, друже. Дякую, друже. Дякую. Дуже дякую, друже.
And yes. Batman, you have more than 50 happy birthday messages. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. A lot of people wish happy birthday to you. I think main wish that I wish you that you survive.
Well, that's a good wish. I'll go for that.
Not die, please, not die, because we have a lot of busy after war. Not die, please.
Oh yeah, I won't. Well, I'm not trying to. The other fucker's trying to get me killed, but so far so good.
And Roberto Vaggia, thanks for your support. Why you don't write? Nobody. And Miriam Ward. Hello, Miriam Ward. Glad to see you on a broadcast. Дякую, Паша і Batman. Very interesting stream. Слава Україні. Героям слава, Miriam. Glad to see you here.
Героям слава.
And my dears, I'm just give a link on the VG project. It's project what about we told with Batman. What about we told with Batman? So if it's so interesting for you, just go by link, my dears. I so numbers of subscribers increasing only on a 10. More than
Still
3
10.
more than 300 viewers and only 10 new subscribers. Uh, a lot of happy birthday message for you, Batman. Thanks, my dear. Thanks that you are supporting us. Thanks
Thank
that
you very
you.
much, guys. Thank you very much. That really means a lot to me, given the fact that this is the second birthday in a row that I'm on the Donbass, stuck in. Well, at least this year I'm not stuck in a trench. Last year was a little bit different. Yeah, but thank you very much once again to everybody. Yeah, you guys stay safe as well, and we'll see where it takes us this next year.
So you are good because you're not sitting in a trench now in your birthday. You have some small rest. I hope and always good.
Believe it or not, I even had a chance to take a shower.
Uh, they don't stop messages. Happy birthday, Batman. I think it's more 100 Batman happy birthday. Make a gift for Batman just to subscribe on his project. Link in a chat because I'm see only 10 you viewers. It's so small, my dears.
Yes, subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Instagram as well. If you want to follow my personal news from the war and other stuff that we do daily.
So trade daily, right? Yeah, I'll have to come visit the United States after the war, Batman. We go
If
to
the
United States.
NSA will allow us to, I don't think they will allow us in the U.S.
So, yeah. But I think going to the US it will be good idea. I want to go to the California. Our subscribers promise for us that we can go to hiking in a mountain and go to the ocean beach. And we can do it in a one day. It's a very interesting. I want to do it.
Sure, why shouldn't we do it?
I,
I'm
I
gonna be in Western Europe sometime in July, maybe ish. Standard places to all the people that know where I'll be going.
and a lot of messages for Batman and a lot of donations. Batman just catching up. My great nephew Darren Anderson was in Poland and Mali with the United States Marines. Thanks for your donation, Cheryl. And Johnny C. Happy birthday, Batman. Thanks for your donation too. Uh, Kellen Dunn, happy birthday, Batman. Stay strong and safe. Much respect and appreciation. Slava Ukraini. Thanks, Kellen Dunn. Batman, it's all
Thank you very
wishes
much,
for
very
you.
much. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
You just talk too much.
and Suffer Death. Suffer Death, thanks for donation and question from the Suffer Death. Cole, what do you see the guys will need more in the offensive? So can stacking up can start. What do you think about equipment? What will be useful during offensive? It's for was question for me or
Well,
for Batman? I think Batman
I don't
know
know.
better.
I'll grab it. I'll grab it. Right. So basically, at the moment, you need to take into consideration that we are well into this war, right? So the amount of experienced soldiers is getting depleted. Slowly but surely, we're moving into the reserves, right? This is the standard type of every war. It's the reserves that actually win the wars, but those reserves need equipment, right? And logistics is a really big thing in every war, right? If we got what to shoot with and what to shoot with those guns, we will be able to conduct offensive operations. So basically, we need constant supply of artillery ammo. Yeah, artillery, artillery, artillery. This is the main issue that we are facing at the moment, is limits in artillery ammunition. We cannot effectively counteract the Russians simply because there is a limit on the amount of artillery mortar shells that we can use per day. Right? If we get more, if there is more, then we can, our fire, our counter battery fire can be more effective. Yeah. For every one of our shell, the Russians unleash about 20 at the moment. We would like that to be at least 1 to 2. That would be ideal.
Uh, so yeah, you're right on a 100%. From artillery depends biggest part of success during defense and same during offensive. For example, from a personal experience in Rubizhne, we had a difference in artillery. We have only one cannon against 13 cannon. Russian artillery can use more than 2000 artillery rounds per day, but we can't use no more than 100, for example. And it was a real difficult combat, a real difficult battle, because we cannot do counter batteries. We can do good support for our infantry. We can do good suppress for enemy's infantry, and from artillery depends biggest part of success. Really, I
Yeah,
hope,
you need to take into
I
consideration all
hope,
this.
I wish for Ukraine 100 HIMARS, 1 million Gret, and 2 million D-30 howitzers, because artillery it's real god of war. It's 100%.
Yeah, we're pretty much limited to the amount of fire missions that we can actually conduct and types of fire missions. Pretty much the most that we can do is light support or harassing fire. We cannot perform creeping barrages and other things that would actually benefit us in an assault scenario or like proper defense against an onslaught. We don't see a lot of onslaughts now at the moment. But still, we would like to get more artillery ammo. So this is the number one priority. Another priority is a stable stream of firearms, small caliber firearms, crew mount weaponry, automatic grenade launchers, ammunition to those as well. And I'm going to break this now. Vehicles, but not only, right? What we are facing at the moment is that there's a big problem with getting spare parts for a lot of the Western vehicles that we did receive. Sending a vehicle, if we don't get the proper coolant for that vehicle, if the radiator is effed up, that's not a problem. We can weld it back together. But if we lost all that coolant and that particular vehicle takes a very specific type of coolant that you cannot get anywhere in Europe, well, that becomes a problem, right? So we need a lot of spare parts for the vehicles that we already do have, and more vehicles,
Yes, 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 too.
more APCs, more MRAPs, more vehicles that can go into high intense artillery intensity fire zones, for example, to pick up wounded, right? It's a very difficult situation when all I'm left with to perform medevacs is a 45-year-old UAZ 452 because our Max Pro is broken and we have great difficulty in getting spare parts for it.
We should answer on a couple messages. So, Secral Sekai, thanks for your donation. And he writing, 2 years ago, Russia was the second best army in the world. 1 years ago, Russia was the second best army in Ukraine. Today Russia is is the second best army in Russia. Yeah, because first army in Russia it's Ukraine. Thanks, Secular Sekai. Thanks
No,
for
no,
this.
no, no. We're not there. Don't
Ah,
forget,
sorry.
we're not there.
No, no,
We're
no, no,
not
no.
there.
For,
We're
for,
not
for
there.
SBU just now just a knock in my door.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. I'm not legit here. Well, I'm legit, but
Russian rebels. It's a first army in Russia. Russian rebels. So sorry, my dear SBU. Sorry, General Budanov.
yeah, it's
It was
it's a very funny story.
it was
Yeah.
my mistake. My mistake. Sorry, it's a language difficult, language barrier. I'm sorry. I don't
I
understand
just, I
English.
just, I just loved about this whole Belgorod thing is people maybe they didn't understand the connotation when you said something earlier. I'm just gonna explain that. Um, Back in 2014, when Russians invaded Crimea and taking Crimea, they were very vague about, their guys being involved, right? So they were doing like, oh, just a little green man, these are not our guys. Our guys are not there, right? So that was one thing. Ich tam нет. Yeah?
Да, их там
So,
нет.
and yeah, no, our guys those are not our guys, right? And everybody was like, but they're wearing Russian uniforms, and they were saying, oh, this type of uniform you can buy in every uniform shop.
This
Yeah,
type of
so
APC you can
yeah,
buy in
yeah.
every shops.
Yes, yes, and that's exactly what I've read from one Ukrainian politician today. These types of tanks you can buy in every Russian tank shop. It was absolutely epic. It was the best troll of the year, if you
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
me.
This type of helicopters you can buy on every Russian airport. Yeah, it's a really funny. It's a Putin make mistake when he said this quote 8 years ago. It's is this quote now playing against Putin. And comment from Chuck Yamarets. You guys come to California Republic. The mountains, the farmlands, the beaches, and the forest are very nice. Big city, not so much. Thanks, Chuck, for your donation, and thanks, Chuck, for invite. I think California it will be one of the place what I visit after war. And Elvin Archer, sorry I'm late. Best wishes to you, Pasha and Batman. Stay well. Stay safe, слава Україні, героям слава. Don't worry, Elvin Archer, you can see or you can watch recording of our broadcast. It's bad that you late, but you can watch it again.
Yeah, don't worry, brother. It's
Don't
late
worry.
for us as well.
Yeah. And so
We just do it this late for the Aussies because they're way down under and they're completely in a different place.
yeah, some really I'm trying to choose comfort time for the our viewers from Europe. We had, for example, 2 hours, 1 hours, and 2 hours different for Australia because they have morning, if I don't mistake. Different states of United States to have comfort time for watching broadcast. I think that streaming from the 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. It's I don't know. Uh, it's a comfort time for everybody. I hope. I hope.
Yeah, I concur. I think that's pretty okay both for the Kiwis, both for the Aussies and the Yanks.
And yeah. Batman, thanks that you are coming on our broadcast. My dear, thanks for your activity in the chat. Thanks for your donation. Today's record, my dear. Thanks. For now, we have 2,305 viewers in general. It's a very good result for our broadcast. Thanks, my dears. Thanks that you with us. And don't forget a link on our project WG in a chat. You can see it couple times. I'm write it a couple times to subscribe, watch our content. So soon we announced interview with medic volunteers. So it will be so soon, my dears. Yeah, I will wait you on a Ouija project. We'll wait you on a next broadcast on a flashback. Thanks for your activity, my dears. Stand with Ukraine and see you later. Hey, Barter,
Yeah,
Batman,
thank you
say,
very
say,
much. Thank
say.
you very much, guys. Thank you very much for all the kind wishes today for my birthday. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All still the flashback, obviously, for hosting us. Thank you very much for inviting me, Pasha. This was well overdue, if you ask me. Don't forget to subscribe also to my Instagram and the Winged Hussars YouTube channel. And we'll see you somewhere someday. I don't know when's going to be the next time that I'll be able to go online because, as I've said, I'm a little bit of a busy guy. I've managed to get get a shower today, which was the first shower in quite a bit. So yeah, stay safe. Slava Ukraine. Thanks once again for the kind wishes and wish us luck, pretty much. And we'll do our best to make the Russian invaders pay for what they've done and make this whole thing see it through to the end and make it go away. Stay safe,
So,
guys.
stay safe, my dears. Slava Ukraini, Героям Slava. See ya later, my dears.